Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am so excited for today's video because I am going to be showing you guys what's all inside of my makeup travel bag, which is absolutely massive. And I just got back from a trip to see my family in North Carolina, so I still have my bag packed. I haven't even taken anything out of it yet, and I just wanted to sit down and film and show you guys what I take with me, what are the best products that I take to travel and everything like that. So if you guys are excited to see this video, then just go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so like I said in the intro, this is no small bag. This is a very large bag, and I truly don't know where I got it. I think I actually got it in a set at Target, if I'm guessing. I just like the big clear ones because they have a little pocket in the front and you can see everything that's in the bag. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm not even gonna go in any order. I'm just gonna pull out, tell you why I like it and why I travel with it, and move on to the next product. So let's go ahead and start with the brushes and the smaller items that I bring. I usually put all of my smaller items in this front pocket if you cannot see, so I can't lose them in this big component. So I'll put all of my small things in there, and I'm just gonna pull everything out. And I will say this, I am not a light packer. I've never been a light packer, so this is a lot of extra things that you really truly don't need. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm not ashamed because I like to bring a lot of things, but this is what I brought brushes wise and anything that's smaller wise. So let me go ahead and talk about the things that are not brushes that are in here. So I always put my eyeshadow primer in there, as well as my brow gel, because they are pretty small. So this is the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, and then my Mary Kay Brow Gel, which is just a really good dupe for the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, and they work great. These are always... See that sun right in my face? Please hold. Yay, that fixed it. Okay, so back to the brushes. So yes, these are the only two things that I had in that pocket just because they're small and I didn't want to lose them, have to hunt around for them, everything like that. So let's move on to brushes that I brought. I always bring just a few eye brushes, not too many, just because bringing too many can just take up a whole lot of space. So these are the eye brushes that I usually bring. This is still so many. Don't judge me. These are the ones that I always bring. So for blending brushes, I always bring my Morphe M504, which is the brush that I always use at the beginning of my tutorials. And then I always bring a Morphe M433, which is a smaller blending brush. It's a little bit flatter and is more of a precise blender. I always bring this little packing brush from Crown Brushes, and I just use it for packing on, setting my lids and everything like that. So I always have that with me. And then I also always bring a flat liner brush like this Morphe one, this Morphe M432, which is just I sometimes define my lash line with that. And then I always bring a pencil brush as well for underneath my lash line. I never do anything too dramatic, so I always just have that to do whatever I do on the bottom lash line. And then these three other brushes are for brows. I do my brows with this one, and then I have a spoolie, and then I have my little concealer brush to clean up my brows with. That is all that I bring for eye brushes, and they do the job. They're great. So then I just bring a few face brushes. So for foundation, if I want to buff out with a foundation brush, I will use this, which is the Morphe E6, which is from their Elite collection. They still have this, but it's in a different bristle form now, which is a super great brush. Then I set my face using this big Moda Pro brush from Royal and Langnickel. It's called their BMX 130 pointed blush brush, but I just use it for setting my foundation. And then I have my Crown bronzing brush, which is, y'all know I love this brush. Then I have this for blush, which is from, I think, either Walgreens or CVS, and it came in a little pack, which is a super good blush brush, super inexpensive. And then I have some highlighting / setting powder brushes. So I use this one for setting my under eyes, and then I have this one if I want to highlight with this one, and I also have my Anastasia A23 if I want to highlight with that one. These are Real Techniques brushes, and they are super inexpensive, so super great brushes. The last two things that are in that pocket in my travel bag is my IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, which is my favorite mascara. I love it. And then a pair of tweezers, which are from Glow Minerals. These are my favorite tweezers. They're great, and they just really do the job. So that is everything that was in the small pocket of my travel bag. So now let's move into the main component of my travel bag. And the first thing up is my Neutrogena cleansing wipes. These are what I use to take off my makeup every night before I go in with my facial cleanser. They are the best. I love them. Love them so much. They take off all my makeup, including my waterproof mascara, everything like that. I either use these or I use the micellar cleansing water from L'Oreal, but I don't usually take this with me because it's just so big. So I take the wipes with me. And then I'm just gonna, the next biggest thing in here are my powders, and I know how excessive this is. I know that bringing 3 loose powders is ridiculous, but I have purposes for all 3 of them, and I have to have all 3 of them with me. So I use the Maybelline Fit Me loose finishing powder in 05 Fair for strictly underneath my eyes to brighten up the under eye area. I don't even know if you can tell right now how bright my under eyes are, but it's from this powder. But I don't like to use it everywhere because it is very brightening and it'll just make me look even more ghostly than I already am. So I use this strictly for underneath my eyes, and the effect, the smoothness that it gives you under the eyes is unheard of in any other powder. I've never found a powder that makes your skin as smooth as this one does. So good. And then I set the majority of my face with the Coty Airspun Loose Translucent Powder, and I have it in the shade Translucent Extra Coverage. And this is just a really good powder for, like, I use that one technique where I take my sponge, dip it in, and then put it on the back of my hand and then press it in. It gives you the smoothest, most airbrush finish, and it's great. It's such a good powder. And then my last powder that I always bring is my Dermablend Professional Loose Setting Powder. This is the best setting powder for setting my smile lines and baking them. I don't know what it is, but it just does a great job of keeping my smile lines less than what they could be, and it's a great powder. I love it so much. Okay, so that's my powders. I only bring one eyeshadow palette with me when I travel, and I just like to bring one that has a little bit of everything that I know will perform well, that can be for natural days or for glam days, and that is my Persona Cosmetics Identity Palette. It is the best palette ever, and you can do anything with this look. There's a lot of just some matte shades that you can just use for every day, and then they also have some shimmery shades. They have every single shade that you could need for a natural or glam look, and it's just the best palette. It won't let me down, and it's very small, so then it doesn't take up too much space in this bag. So this is just such a great palette, and I would highly recommend it to anyone, and it's the perfect travel eyeshadow palette. For highlighter, I always bring a duo or some kind of palette so that I can switch it up if I want to, and I brought my Smashbox Spotlight palette in Pearl, and then I have 3 shades to choose from. I usually use this one, and then if I want to mix it, I'll mix it with this one to make it a little more dramatic, but this is a really good palette to bring because you can do a lot of different things with it, and I love it so good. Okay, and then for foundation, I always bring 2 just to have a different one just in case I am feeling something different. But my 2 favorite foundations of all time at the moment, and the ones that I travel with, are both from Makeup Revolution, the Stick Foundation and the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. These foundations are the best foundations on the market right now. I promise you, they're super inexpensive. They're from the drugstore. They're cruelty-free, and they are amazing. Such good coverage. They last all day. They are so good, and I always bring these with me if I go anywhere because I know that they won't let me down. The best, don't at me, the best foundations ever. Then for concealer, I feel like you all know, Tarte Shape Tape is like my favorite concealer of all time. I love it, and it never lets me down. I have the shade Fair Neutral, and it's just great. Moisturizer, you guys already know, it's my e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer. I bring it everywhere with me. It's so good. I love it. So for bronzer and blush this week, I brought my Butter Bronzer in the shade Light Bronzer. It's my favorite bronzer of all time, but I am trying out a new bronzer right now, and that one might become the new favorite. But this is just a great bronzer. I can use it for on my eyes. I can use it on my face. It's just a great bronzer. The blushes that I brought for this trip are the Essence Satin Touch blush in the shade Satin Love, which is just like this rosy mauve blush that's so beautiful, and I love this blush. It's a couple dollars. Super good. And then I also brought the Japanesque Velvet Touch blush in the shade 2, and it's just more of a peachy, warm blush, and it's beautiful, and it comes with a little mirror. I use that a lot on my trips because it's really nice, and I can get up close and personal on my skin. Just a few more products. The next being my Japanese sponge. This is the sponge that I brought on my trip with me. It is just such a good sponge, and I think it's one of the best on the market, and it's just, I think it's around $10. Super good, and you guys have seen me use this a million times on my channel. you guys know I'm not going to rant on about it. My primer that I brought is the One Heck of a Blotch primer from Soap & Glory, which you guys know I love, but I'm out of it. I really need to get some more before tomorrow. The brow product that I brought on my trip and that I take with me everywhere is my Benefit Ka-Brow in the shade 5, which I'm going to be going up when I finish this one because this one's too dark for me. But this is such a good brow gel, and it's very small and compact, and it has a little brush on the end if you need to use it, and it's just a great product. Lasts all day, does not budge. So good. The last couple things are just kind of necessities when I go on any trip that are outside of makeup, which one being a spray bottle to spray my beauty blender if it gets too dry, that type of thing. And I always have this on hand on my desk even when I'm here, just so I can spray them in case I need to re-wet them. And then the last thing is some hair bands and some bobby pins, and I just stick them in a little Ziploc bag and have them with me just in case I need to use them all on my trip, and I can have them in my makeup bag. Okay guys, so my bag is completely empty. Those are all the products that I bring traveling with me. They are the best products, the ones that I really stick by, that will not disappoint me at all. So if you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and once you have subscribed, please make sure to turn on the little bell notification so you're notified every single time I upload, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.